to another episode of Woolly TV. This time we've got the first Channel Islands I've ever had. So it's the first time to review it, but I actually have never owned a CI as of yet, which is pretty weird really. I would have thought I would have had one by now, but I've got the CI, and this one is the Rocket Wide in a squash tail. It's designed for really small sort of sloppy waves, trying to increase the fun. It's a step down. This one's a 511. Coming in at 34.4 litres, so it's a little more than I normally ride, but being a step down I wanted to boost it up a little bit. It's quite thick in the rail. The rails are 2 5/8, but it feels like it's a really thick, flat deck, thick rail, so it's going to be really interesting to see how that goes. The board's quite flat. It is definitely like a grovel board. It's got a wider area at the 12-inch mark back from the nose. It's definitely quite a wide tail. It's kind of a little bit like the old dumpster diver tail that I remember selling back in the day. This one I've got in the future setup, so I'm going to be able to try that. From what I've read, it looks like it's going to be good in that sort of waist to shoulder high mark, even a little lower. I might be able to really grovel on it. We are here in the middle of the tail end of winter at the moment in September, so we will we should get a variety of waves to test it out in. This is just a standard PU. It's not super light. It's probably a touch lighter than a stocky, but not much. Anyway, we'll get it in the water, get out there, give it a crack, and we'll come back soon after a few surfs on it. See you soon. Yo.
I use a rocket wide to tow behind my donkey. Thruster sit up, donkey go faster.
Yeah.
Low rocker, donkey goes lower.
Welcome back. And what a little ripper this guy is. I was a little bit worried about how it would surf in the pocket, as the board's quite flat and the outline's really wide. and it's got a super wide tail. But what I worked out, the board works so well in sloppy little waves and waves that have dead sections in them. I managed to get the thing flying down the line. It goes as fast as any other board I've ridden in grovelly surf. If I could pick one thing that was a little hard on it, it didn't like fitting into really steep sections, and you'll see when I'm surfing that little left-hander on the reef break, a couple of times I had to go around the first section just to jam in the more of the open face. It didn't like sitting right tight in the pocket. But that's okay, because that's not what the board's designed for. But then you look at it in the flats of the waves or really gutless waves, and it is absolutely flying, and it's really nice to be able to do like a nice carving turn and then generate speed and hit the closeout over a really long dead section. So this board does that very, very well. The other thing I noticed with it is, and I don't do reverses or spinners very often, but this board allowed me to get back into feeling like a grommet and actually spin, and because it's wide and disky and quite flat, it does like to spin around. So if you're that way inclined, you want to chuck down a couple of reverses or a couple of 3-0s, it's pretty fun to do that. As a groveler, this is right up there as one of the better grovelers I've ridden the last couple of years. I really liked it. The board's held up really well. It's a PU. I rode it the whole time with the black sticks in the Andos, so they're quite large fin, and I did prefer to I normally prefer to ride the large black sticks, and when I'm groveling I prefer to ride bigger fins. This board with a wide tail, always prefer to have larger fins rather than mediums. So I think the fin selection was perfect for the board. The one thing I would do if I was going to go and buy this board off the shelf, I would order the EPS version in the Spine Tech, because I think boards like this generate even more speed if you're riding the EPS core. They got a little bit more flex in them than the PU. If you're into PUs, great, go for it. There's nothing wrong with the PU, but if I went back again and was going to use this board as a groveler, I personally would grab the EPS one, because I reckon I'd go even faster on that and it just perform that little bit better in junky stuff. I think the board is really designed for average to very average surf, knee high to waist high, dribbly waves, or sort of flatter waves up to sort of even head high. If you surf a long flat wave that's got dead sections in it and then maybe a closeout section at the end, this board, the Rocket Wide, will work really well for that type of surf. So if you're into surfing top to bottom waves with a lot of curve in them, it's probably not the right board. But if it's got sections, long flats, need to generate speed, then this little number's good for you, and you could scale it up if you're a bigger bloke or you're an older bloke, you want a bit more paddle power. The 511's coming in at 34.4, so I'm riding at an inch or two shorter than my normal boards and a couple of litres more, or 1.5 litres more. You could easily scale that up if you want a paddle power board for shitty surf, flat sections, or even bigger if it is a flat wave with not much power. You could definitely ride this board in it. Thumbs up. Thanks again to the guys at Onboard for hooking me up with this one over there in Sydney, and we'll see another couple of Channel Islands coming through soon. So please subscribe and watch the next round of CIs coming through, and we've got heaps of boards backlogged, so stay tuned, there's more coming. Thanks for watching.